Good stuff. Now, what about 2022 as a whole? How would you assess how it's gone for you and for Queensberry?
Well, I think it's gone well. I mean, what we set out to do quite a few years ago now, was it four or 5 years ago when we went with BT, we set out to get Tyson back in, get back into to become champion, to basically rule the division. We set out to ensure that we would have other heavyweights and bring them through, which we've done. So basically, we're in a really good position as far as the world heavyweight scene's concerned. I think no one's got a better situation with heavyweights than we have, that's for sure. And we've got others coming through as well. So that I'm highly delighted with. I'm delighted that that our youngsters, a couple of them, didn't the likes of Zach Parker had a big problem, busted his hand up. Denzel Bentley could have won that fight. The first 4 rounds of the fight first 4 rounds, I think he was a little bit too respectful towards the guy. Had he not been, he may have won that. But he showed he's up there. So they would have liked the lows. The highs, well, Hamza. You look at Dennis McCann. You look at Sam Noakes. You look at Nick Ball. I mean, I can reel off and I don't want to be rude to people, I'll reel off a load of names. Heaney, all those guys. We've probably got the best group of young fighters who will be contenders next year. Will be getting to a position where they're contenders than anyone. And I mean anyone. I'm not talking about the UK. I'm talking about anywhere. We have a fantastic young stable of fighters, really good quality fighters. So I'm delighted where we're at. I'm delighted with all the hard work that's been put in. That we've set ourselves up for a big year next year. I mean, some fantastic fights. Just that heavyweight division, as we mentioned earlier, there's some fantastic fights to be made there.
Now, you'd say that Queensberry have never really been away, but there's been a perception over the last few years, perhaps, particularly when Matchroom was still with Sky as their broadcast partner, that they were kind of in the ascendancy. They were putting on the big shows. They had the bigger names, Joshua being the spearhead of that. This year, at least from the outside, seems like a bit of a resurgent year for Queensberry, that you've kind of reasserted yourselves at the top. How do you see it, and do you feel that perception from outside?
Well, what I do, Dan, I just look at what we do, and what we do is build and have. And we got vision. We don't just jump from one thing to the other. We have vision, and we look at all of our fighters, and we sit down and work out where we want to take and where we want to go. I think we do the best job for bringing fighters through, bar none. Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, I got the pay-per-view going on Sky. I've got Sky going in boxing, so I know what the power of what Sky is. But now we got the power of BT and Discovery Plus. We done well with what we had to do with Box Nation, which is still there. So we worked very hard, and with our endeavours and with our knowledge and our determination, we brought all our guys through. They're all doing well. They're all in a very good, very, very good positions. And Sky now have got a new promoter. We'll see what he does over the next year or 2 years, what they're going to do. And the others, they're on. I mean, they got all I keep seeing is fighters are leaving them at the moment.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's it. And and there's a reason for that. And they're not getting that exposure. You go on Dead Zone, you don't get seen.
Dead Zone. I mean, isn't that name of a Stephen King novel?
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, of course. Me too. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people out there, fans and media alike, we kind of like to paint it as Frank versus Eddie or Matchroom versus Queensberry. Would you say that competition is closer perhaps than it's been in the past, or is the gap widening? What's your view?
No, I see what everybody says, and you hear what they say, and obviously people think, it's a funny thing. it's always the younger guys. I mean, listen, I've done it when I got into boxing. It's always the younger guy. Always a new young guy come on the scene. They're going to do this and do it. Do you know how many young guys have come on the scene over the years, and how many have disappeared over the years? This business is about longevity. It's about, dealing with the bad times as well as the good times, because there are bad times. It's life. That's what life's like, ups and downs, and dealing with it. And we have faith in what we've got, and I feel we're in a stronger position now, because obviously we've got a better team around us than we've had at any time, as far as management level is concerned. With my son George, he's been a great CEO, Gareth Jones, and Andy and all the other team. We've got a very, very good team around, a good team at the top. And then I think we've got good knowledge. I'm not a bad judge of boxers and boxing, so I'm a good job, good matchmakers. Steve's done a great job. Francis done a great job. Francis is now on his own. He's gone out managing fighters. He's got his own business going, so he's doing well. And I'm delighted, and it just keeps evolving, and it will keep evolving. But for us, it's not about, if there's any ego in our business, the ego is probably with me, because that's sort of probably the background I come. I look at my kids, there's no ego there with them. They just get on with it. Not even bother about doing interviews and so forth. So, for me, it's about delivery, and I don't care what anyone says. It's about what happens in the ring, what you put in the ring that counts. And this year we've outdone everybody in the UK, outdone everybody, and I think it's going to be even better next year, because we've got more control of what we've got to do. As I said, we've got rid of the mandatory, and we got Tyson's got his rounds under his belt, which he needed before the fight. So I'm delighted in the position we're in now, and we're moving forward. We've got signed some nice young fighters up. We've signed a fighter up, which a really good heavyweight up, which I'm going to announce, which we're announcing, I think it's tomorrow or Friday, who I'm absolutely delighted with. Speaking of heavyweights as well, David Adelaide's coming through. He's doing well. I can go through him. Carol Itsuyama, he's doing brilliant. He's going to have a title fight in January on the undercard of the Berbiatev fight and Anthony Yard. So there's another big show. We've got our guy home advantage. It's not a bad way to kick off the year, the season, or we say the new year. So I'm pleased with that. We're in good shape. We're happy where we're at.
We'll talk about Beterbiev against Yard in a moment, but you said there about you've seen a lot of young guys come and go, particularly when things get tough. Does that give you a certain amount of respect for Eddie Hearn, in the sense that he's been in it a while now, and it has been up and down? It hasn't been all, handed to him so far. He's now experiencing a bit of adversity, and he's still there, at least as far as we know.
Well, he's had a good run. He hit the ground running with, really, obviously through Matchroom and having a TV deal with Sky. I left Sky, contrary to what they, what he pumps out. I left Sky 9 months to set up Box Nation before they even done a deal with him, because of the position there was with that time with Barney Francis, who was virtually killing boxing. He made a decision to 8 dates a year, and you're going to get 800 grand for the 8 dates. That was that. Who wanted to be involved in that? That was where it's at. But I think once BT come into being, they sort of had a bit of a, sort of step back and reinvested in boxing, and they were in the right place at the right time, and they signed the fighter from the Olympics in the heavyweight. So you can be in the right place at the right time. We've all been in the right place sometimes at the right time. Then sometimes you're in the wrong place. But it's, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in the next year. Let's see. At the moment, they've got the zone is being funded by a man at the moment I think he's blown about 6 billion in setting the business up, and it's not making money. And they announce profits. So if I was him, I'd be sitting there saying, well, I'm putting all this money in and everyone else is making profits. Why aren't I making profits? And how long is he going to continue to put money in? Who knows?
Fair enough.
But you know what? I don't care. It's irrelevant to us. We've got our home. Our home is BT. Our home is, we're very pleased where we're at. And as I say, it's evolved now. It's evolved even more. I mean, I never thought Discovery Plus were going to be in boxing, but they're in there, and that's brilliant. And there's some good people there. So I think we're going to go from strength to strength next year.